I know you need a recap of Squid Game Season 1 before you watch Season 2, so here you go. This was definitely the most difficult recap I've ever made, so make sure to show some love if it was helpful for you. The show immediately introduces us to our main character, GOTCHU. He's divorced, estranged from his daughter, and has a terrible gambling addiction. Out of the blue, GOTCHU gets approached by a guy who offers to play a game with him where he can win some money. He plays and eventually wins, and the guy invites him to play more games to win a lot more money. And GOTCHU's down bad, so he says yes, gets kidnapped, and wakes up in a facility with 455 other contestants for these games. Before game number 1, GOTCHU forms an alliance with a few people. Sang-woo, who's actually a friend from his childhood, an old man named Il-nam who wears the number 1, and who we later learn is terminally ill, and Se-byeok, who actually stole money from GOTCHU back at home because she wants to provide for her orphaned brother. Game 1 is red light, green light. Easy enough except for the fact that you get shot if you move when you're not supposed to or don't make it to the other side in time. So everyone panics and a lot of people die, but GOTCHU and his crew survive. Oh, and every time a player dies, more money gets added to the pool. But the players all say screw the money and vote to end the games and get back to their miserable lives. GOTCHU tries to tell the police about everything, but they're not trying to hear it. Except for this detective named Jun-ho, whose brother went missing and received the same invite GOTCHU did. Eventually, though, all the contestants realize their lives suck and they go back to the games. And Jun-ho sneaks in as a guard and discovers a lot of information about the games. Like the fact that they're being held on a remote island, and that they've been going on for decades, and plot twist that his missing brother had actually won one of the games. Jun-ho captures one of the VIPs that bets on these games, records a confession from him, and tries to escape with his newfound evidence. But he gets caught by some guards and a man in a mask who runs the whole thing, who plot twist again is Jun-ho's brother. He tries to recruit Jun-ho, Jun-ho says no, so he shoots him and away he goes. Now everyone's back on the island and ready to play more games, and a guy named Ali joins GOTCHU's alliance. In game number 2, players have to perfectly cut out a shape from a fragile cookie, and players with subpar shapes get hashtagged, but GOTCHU and his crew move on. Speaking of hashtagging someone, a douchebag named GOTCHU gets in a fight and wipes a player off the map, and when guards don't do anything, he realizes he can just do this to other players to give himself a better chance to win. So he forms his own alliance, which includes this crazy lady Minyo, and they decide to run the fate on everyone in the facility, but GOTCHU and his crew survive. Now game number 3 is tug of war, where the losing team falls off a ledge to their death. And it turns out Il-nam is 200 IQ when it comes to tug of war, so the good guys survive and advance. Game number 4 was devastating to watch, as it required players to pair up with each other. GOTCHU is with the old man, and Sang-woo is with Ali, and they each have a bag of marbles and learn that one player must have the other player's marbles by the end of the allotted time, and the player without marbles gets executed. GOTCHU and Sang-woo both trick their partners into getting their marbles, but GOTCHU feels bad about it and confesses what he did to Il-nam, but Il-nam says they're besties and it's okay. In game number 5, players have to cross over a glass-paneled bridge to get to the other side, and some of the panels are extremely weak and give out under a person's weight. The game takes out a lot of players, including Crazy Lady, who decides she's going to take out GOTCHU with her, and Sang-woo shows his true colors when he shoves the player in front of him to help reveal the correct path. And with only Sang-woo, GOTCHU, and Se-byeok remaining, Sang-woo decides to take out Se-byeok, leaving only him and GOTCHU. And the last game is Squid Game, which was played by GOTCHU and Sang-woo as kids. GOTCHU defeats Sang-woo and wins the money, but when he returns home, he doesn't spend any of it because he's absolutely traumatized by everything that happened. He then receives an invitation to meet with a mysterious person who, plot twist, turns out to be player number 1, Il-nam, who we learn was never actually executed after game number 4, and plot twist again, he was the original creator of the games, which he made as a way to entertain the rich and elite. He ends up passing from his terminal illness, and GOTCHU decides to unite Se-byeok's orphaned brother with Sang-woo's mother, who's devastated by the loss of her son, and gives them some of his winnings to make sure they're both taken care of. GOTCHU decides to go reunite with his daughter, but as he's on his way, he sees someone being recruited to the games in the same way that he was, and the season ends with GOTCHU deciding to instead try and stop the games once and for all.